Hey everybody, welcome back to another lesson in this series, and I'm joined today by my fellow tango dancer Jim, who is going to help me demonstrate this really common issue that we encounter on the dance floor, and that is height difference and how to dance with somebody who is much taller or much shorter than you. If I'm thinking about myself as a follower dancing with somebody a little bit taller than me, and I'm dancing in flats, so I'll show you how I adapt to this. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that my left arm can wrap on top of my leader if I'm dancing in close embrace, but I can also choose to dance with somebody much taller in open embrace. That's always an option. So if you're dancing with somebody as a follower and they're just so tall that you feel very uncomfortable to bring your arm up in close embrace, you can switch to open embrace. So open embrace would be here for us, and close embrace, I'm going to really try to wrap my arm around Jim's shoulder on top, being mindful that I'm not pressing down here. Now, if this arm can't really reach up all the way, you do have the option of maybe keeping it here. Just be mindful that you're not pushing down. But if you want to be a little bit experimental, as a follower, you can also grab the leader down here and see if they're interested or willing to dance this way. Sometimes that can work. So you're going to be connected through the backside here. It's a little different, but I've seen it done. It can work pretty well. So I wrap my left arm on top of Jim's right shoulder. Then I want to make sure that my knees remain very soft. So I don't want to have this impulse to reach up towards my leader. Instead, I remain very comfortable. I allow my shoulders to adapt, and I keep my knees nice and soft. So that when we're moving, when we're moving together, I keep this idea that I'm really grounding down and allowing my upper body to soften around Jim's frame. Okay, so that will be sort of some pointers for you as a follower dancing with somebody much taller. I know that for some followers, they get into the situation where you're really dancing on your toes when you're dancing with somebody much taller. Try to avoid that at all costs and use any one of these adjustments, maybe going into open embrace or something of a different embrace, so that you as a follower can stay with your feet on the ground and use your heel. That way you're not really straining your body. Now, for Jim, when he takes the embrace with me, this height difference perhaps doesn't seem that dramatic. Sometimes Jim might dance with somebody who is this tall. So he has to know how to adapt to that. And the first thing I say for leaders is to make sure that you keep your knees soft and you use your knees to adapt to the follower's height, so that you really are adjusting to each other, because both people kind of have to make it work. So when Jim takes the embrace, he keeps his knees soft, and very important for tall leaders that you keep your head and neck aligned on top of your spine and you don't come forward. Because if you do, so notice, we'll just demonstrate here. So if he brings his head to connect with my head, which a lot of times in close embrace is the impulse, right? We have the sensation on the face and we want to go towards it. If he does that, he's actually going to cut off my space. So as he brings his head forward and we start walking together, notice on this step here, my alignment, I'm actually going back this way, and he's almost passing me. So for leaders, very important to keep your head nice and tall on top of your spine and thinking about inviting the follower to come to you. So it's like he's opening the space in his chest so I can come towards him and rest towards him. He doesn't have to come down to me. Okay, so then once we are in the embrace, as much as possible for taller dancers, making sure that you're taking steps that are a little bit smaller than what you feel is natural for you. Because obviously, somebody who's taller will have this feeling that taking just a normal size step feels completely normal, but you kind of have to realize that somebody shorter is going to be traveling a little bit bigger steps to cover the same ground as you. So those are some tips for the leader if you're much taller than your follower. Now, if it's reversed, let's say I'm the leader now, so my follower is much taller than me. one thing that's going to be obvious right away is that I'm not going to go into close embrace, because if I do, I'm staring into my follower's chest and I can't see anything. So we're going to be an open embrace if I'm a leader and my partner is really tall. The next thing that I want to do as a leader, I want to make sure they really feel my frame. I have to give them a lot of support so that they can tell where I want them to be. Sometimes you realize that somebody who's much taller than you is taking very big steps, and it takes you a little bit more energy to get them to go. It's as if they're a little bit reluctant because they're a little bit bigger and they have more mass, and they might not be so ready to go yet. So as a leader, I adapt to that, and I simplify my dance, and I make sure that I'm taking very nice, big, clear steps. So if I'm walking with my follower along the line of dance, I simplify it and make it all about walking. And notice, I'm really paying attention that we stay facing each other and we stay equidistant from each other. So as a leader, when my follower is much taller than me, I just want to provide a lot of clarity as to where I want them to be. So I feel that image of being a monolith, and I'm conveying where I want them to go. I keep my knees really nice and soft, so at any point that they need, I can support their balance if that's required. Now, if you're a follower and you're much taller, you also have to adapt once you start following somebody who's much shorter than you. And again, the knees are going to be your friend here. Bending the knees and making sure that you're dancing more towards the ball of your foot, especially on pivots. So when you're going around your partner, bending the knees and allowing yourself to be a little bit more dynamic. Taller dancers move a little bit slower naturally just because that's how their body moves. There's more of it. So you as a dancer, a lot of times when you start dancing tango as a follower, you have to learn to modulate that and move a little bit quicker. So bending the knees, making sure that your embrace is really feeling for the direction from your leader. Just try to move as comfortably as possible around your partner without stressing out too much, because a lot of times the stress will bring a lot of tension into the embrace, and then there's going to be that feeling of not being able to tell what your partner is actually telling you to do. So with the embrace, you want to have the sense that you're using your muscles to hold up the embrace and you're connecting with your partner, but you're not adding extra tension to follow them. So those are some of the tips. Let me know if you have any questions or any other insights you want to share. Pop those in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.